So I'm just going to take you a little back into history, looking at GIS. The real effective GIS map was not a digital one, it was a very manual thing. When the cholera outbreak took over London, and John Snow actually started mapping out the spots where the actual infections happened. And then he realized the center point is actually one source of infection. It shows how geographical knowledge and geographical analysis cannot be done by any other means. Sometimes you have to look at the spatial, the spatial data, or the spatial flow, and then only you will actually understand what's going on. So it's a question of visualization, and there's a lot of change management, and you will see how it's a strong case for urban planning. I take you again into history. This is my hometown. I belong to Chennai, so I know a lot of the places by heart. This is on the left is the map of Chennai. It was called Madras from 1909. So you see these huge water bodies. The water I have shown above as the long tank, and that's the same spot which I tried locating on Google Maps, and that's the same spot you see below. It's fully, there's no longer there. Then there used to be something called a Vyasarpadi tank. I was wondering, where's that tank? I tried to locate it, and you see that small green, it's a bog actually, it's a kind of a bog. That's what's left of it. And there used to be there's a road called Spur Tank Road. I grew up all my life there and never saw a tank. So I tried to locate that, and I realized the whole thing vanished by urban planning. So what is urban planning? I mean, are we looking at water sources? Are we looking at how we're using land? So there are so many verticals which could be put on GIS, and these are some listed areas. And there's a huge value chain which I will again come back to. We can put so many layers of data into it. And as a district collector of Vardham, where the Sevagram ashram is there, we try to kind of innovate in a little different way, which I'll want to present to you. So usually we look at GIS as a standalone thing. Somebody buys a GIS server and it's doing. So what we tried creating there is a complete platform. So we created a platform which is on the state data center, the centralized GIS server, and we just built apps. We built the application layer, and we built 3 of them, and we invited others to build more, and every department could build its own application and load it onto it. It's completely replicable, scalable, and it's quite cost effective. So we have got it hosted on the state data center, and we are actually integrating data from other sources like the urban data, and from the collectorate we prepared urban planning, mining and crime mapping as our own applications on it. So the issue of some of the speakers have mentioned how we don't even know where the data is. So we wanted to solve that problem. Let's put everything together in one place, let everybody access standardized data, clean data, geospatial data, and which is updated regularly by the authorities, and let everybody use it. Probably even the people could use it in the long run. So urban module, again, this is what we did. So we started with the basics, which is the land records. The most systems sit from the urban local bodies perspective. They look at this. Their starting part is property tax. But we started with the land parcels. Every single survey number was put on the GIS, geo-referenced. Then we built up the zone plan, the development plan on top of that, then the buildings, then the utilities, then the tax information, then we started putting the electrical data on top of it, and the limit, there's no limit. So you can actually have a complete data integration on a GIS platform, and you can have user creation with different rights. Maybe you can open it up even for public for tagging. So the idea is to keep changing the base map. We bought a latest map from NRSA Hyderabad, and we can keep updating, and we can see how the thing goes. I'll just show you screenshots of the application itself. In fact, I just got transferred out of it. It is in the last stages. So we have got like basic controls, I'll just run through this. We got different user levels and we have got different. So this is the map. We've got every single property mapped out. And that's geo-referenced, and we could actually go down to every single property and we will get complete data about its attributes. And of course there are buffer tools, the standard GIS things we can actually see as a and we put this print option also in the sense like a standard option where if you suppose you're registering data, land registration has happened with, what's the north, south, east, west description of your property you're selling. So many frauds happen in land registration. Why can't government give a printable GIS based system for people to take a printout and say, this is what I'm selling, this is what I'm buying. So that's what we tried to build here. So that base map and everything was put on properties where data entries were put. So we got different kinds of assets built on top of it, query systems. Now, the thing what we wanted to do was to do actually crime mapping. Again, we had people, after the Nirbhaya incident and the Shakti Mills incident, we realized, abandoned buildings is a big security threat. Why can't we actually track it on GIS? Why can't we look at empty roads? Probably the crime happens because there are no street lights there. Probably the crime happens there because they're dead end. A new colony is coming up and there are only 2 houses. So the police patrol does not go to that location because there are only 2 houses. Crime happens there. So we tried to put crime mapping, and let me show you how we did it. So we took historical data for almost 5 years and we digitized the locations, and this is actually the kind of information for the entire district. The crime spots we mapped out, and we said, okay, we'll have to put it in the user. The user is the constable, user is the sub-inspector who's on the crime spot. So we wanted to make a mobile applications, probably the first in the country. So we got a mobile application done, and then that actually fetches the live GIS information from the server. And then when the new crime occurs, the person can go and actually geotag that crime spot. And not only that, there will be some drop downs where we can actually even put the FIR ID and upload photographs from the crime spot. And this could be done even offline, and it would be synchronized when the data connection is available. And then we have a web module also, which would actually add even video and further details of the crime. And we wanted to do the proximity analysis, hotspot analysis. This proximity analysis, like I want to understand how many crimes have occurred near, let's say, women's hostels or schools or religious places. So I can actually find out that. And time series, we got a slider, we can actually see what kind of temporal patterns are there. The web module. And then we even, I don't have the screenshot. So we got day of the week, the date, special events. Probably certain things happen only on religious days. So we've got calendars for marking special events and so on. And the very interesting part is we have tried to put modus operandi. Suppose the same kind of pattern of crimes are happening again and again. So it becomes a kind of a predictive analytics on where and what is going on. So this is a third module, which is not, you may think it's not very relevant to urban, but I just wanted to present to you nevertheless. Mining system is a very complex system. It's got boundaries, lease, there's a full value chain of selling, licenses, there is environmental data which could be uploaded. So we wanted to put again this on it's an action based thing. We send our patwaris onto the field. They can actually walk around the mining area and give the boundaries. While leasing it out, we do an accurate map, and if the mapping is mismatched, we know what's going on. This could be applied to so many other things. It could be building permissions and land use in general. So the other interesting part is of course the complaint management. So anybody could take a picture, upload it into the system, and that would tag full workflow into going into the system and actually going and looking at it. On top of this, if you put simple sensors, suppose I have a mining or a factory, we talked about pollution, water pollution. Why don't we, very few pollution control boards have sensor networks. Why don't we monitor online, remotely, air pollution or water pollution in and around cities? That could be done using GIS. So your sensors could feed, create a data stream, and you can literally see the pollution map changing day by day on a GIS platform. So these are solutions which I think smart cities have a great opportunity. So I think it somewhere needs to be rethought. A lot of people think GIS, this is my last slide. So GIS is not only for information. I think there's a lot of action can be taken out of it. There's a lot of thoughtful planning could be done with GIS. A lot of interesting examples of open GIS platforms are there. I forget this, the city internationally, they have just created the full platform, and the APIs are open. Anybody could create their own application and load it. If I'm a foodie, I like a particular type of food, there will be an application which will just search your type of food. If I'm a small salesman looking for auto spare parts, that will actually, without even searching for anything, it's a subset of a subset. So these kind of open GIS platforms are coming up, uploading photographs, geotagging, and these are a lot of opportunities are there. And I personally have implemented these systems, and I find it's very powerful, and there's no limit to which GIS could be taken, and I think it will be a great base to build up everything else. So once again, I thank elets and my esteemed colleagues and all of the participants for listening.